All right, I think we're live. Hello, everybody. Beagle Boy here. I know it has been quite the long time since I've done a stream about this. Done a stream on this channel in general. Now, I'm going to say right now, I had pondered whether or not to come clean about this or not, as I've done a few testimony streams on a few others' channels, but due to technical issues and everything else that transpired, it sort of came to a point where I feel like I have to say something on my own accord. So, to anyone who is unaware of my channel's history or who I'm about to say this towards, for those around 2021 when I started this channel, I had met an individual who goes by the name Nordic Wolf Productions, aka Kyle Lothbrock, Hawkins, Johnson, whatever name he wants to call himself. And I sort of alluded to this in my tenure on YouTube stream that I did 2 years ago when I met a former cast member on there. I'm giving my full testimony on my experience with the individual and kind of what exactly happened. So, around 2025, I get a Discord message that was asked that neat that kind of caught my attention from a YouTuber who I sort of knew behind the scenes named Leon Calavera, who asked to speak with me in regards to a personal matter. And we and it involved myself, Leon, and Kyle as we all talked over a certain rumor that went on about if I was spying and this, that. And while I did dispel the rumor, I also tried to patch things behind the scenes between me and Nordic Wolf behind the scenes, because what I was not specific about on earlier channels, or why I kept Nordic Wolf's name out of the equation, is because from the time I knew said former crew member Firelord, unfortunately, me knowing Nordic Wolf first was how I met him through. And at the time, I was trying to be on my own way and act like Nordic Wolf never existed because of how bipolar the time I knew him from 2020 to 22 was, where days where everything was cool between us, next moment we were beefing over dumb shit. So it was just kind of a hot and cold kind of situation. So that being said, I brought this up to Nordic Wolf in the one group channel, and I sort of tried to bury the hatchet in a sense, because I'm usually the kind of person who's all about like forgiveness and giving second chances for certain things. However, I later come to learn that this was probably the biggest mistake I have made, and part of why I haven't been doing so much with the channel. Fast forward a bit to August 2022. I get a message from Nordic Wolf, and it's like 4 in the afternoon after I get off of work, where I'm pretty much like w- telling people, where I had to tell, yeah, excuse me. After work, I get off and I see a message from Nordic Wolf. He's like, yo, what's up? How is everything? And I'm like, doing good, just getting off of work, like, just kind of chatting like normal. And he's like, hey, if you don't mind me asking for a favor, I need to talk with you when I get back. And I'm like, all right, yeah, that's fine. Because around July ish, he tells me that he had a new girl in his life. And I tried to be as supportive as possible, trying to be like, yo, that's great, man. Hope things go well between the two of you. Like, trying to just be friendly about the situation and all that. However, he at first kind of asks me for a favor that became a repetitive thing. Basically, he scams me out of money. And this all started because he wanted to treat this girl to a new, like to a vacation of sorts. And I kind of, in a way, was skeptical at first, but I also was trying to look past it, essentially letting my guard down. And it sort of turned into a repeated thing over and over and over again. Um, that's kind of given the gist of it, but there also were some other sort of factors like um to put it simply, I have an entire doc that I'm going to share that will hopefully explain everything, as this kind of helps, I guess, paint the better picture to everything. But I will say to those who do want to take part on this, go ahead and shoot me a message on Discord if you want the invite link. However, I'm also going to share the YouTube link to those who wish to see it and whatnot. But overall, this will kind of be a minute to pull everything up. So give me just one quick moment before I do so, as I'm kind of doing this a little bit disorganized right now. So kind of bear with me right now. So let's see here. Okay, let's see here. As you wind through the streets, you can smell every spice while you haggle the price in the milks and the satin shards. All the music that plays as you move away. Your pure delight. You were caught in a dance. Oh, we got a message right here from Darkless. What's up, man? I guess this is about a certain fake Aussie. Yes, in fact, this is. I am finally breaking the silence, as I've mostly been saying this on Discord, but now is the moment that I'm fully committed to telling my side of things on what's been going on behind the scenes on my own accord. Also, we do have Courtney the Angel Hog. What's going on? Hope you're having a good night. But yeah, other than that, as I get all this together, I'm gonna just try to. Come on, Firefox. There you go. That being said, as soon as I open this up, we will fully begin. If I can remember how to share screen for the life of me. Okay. Allow. There we go. So we are now going to start this off. So now here's where we begin. August 14th, 2025. Now, as I took these screenshots, I had blocked the account, but now this whole so now we got a full 125 as I'm going to kind of try to go over everything as best as possible. So that being said, whoever wants to hop in, kind of give their testimony to help like kind of alleviate their side of things as well are definitely welcome. I'll definitely give you the stream invite link if you're interested. That said, however, we got some shit to address. I'm gonna send this to a few. Gonna send this to a few places, and now gonna also send the YouTube stream as well. So, that way we all have. That way everyone is all in the know as well as kind of fully aware of this. But we will definitely deal with that when the time comes. However, back to what we got. So he says so at first he says, "Hey, what's up?" And I say, "Not a whole lot, got off of work." He tries doing this sweet talking method because this is something that kind of was a common thing. It was he would sweet talk things, kind of saying like, I know I wasn't the best of mates, but I still consider you a mate. And I say, happy to hear. And then he asks for the favor. I say, what's up? Says, almost home. I'll call you. Some of this is kind of backwards, so I know it might seem a little stunted, but at first it starts out as, but like I'm going to kind of let the amounts speak for themselves because there is a lot to unpack. So 2 days goes by, asks for an extra 10, saying that he needs to give it to his girlfriend and saying that I would get a certain amount back. I say, not really fully catching on to the whole, not fully catching on to his tactics at the time. I say, sure, let me know when it all goes through. And then he asks, and he's like, thanks, bud. Discord tonight? And I'm like, I can't really do so. Because I got some things going on, because that's a reoccurring thing, is that I would be busy with my life or, just doing things off of social media in general. Something that I don't expect the fake Ozzy to comprehend. But he pretty much says this. Yep. Honestly, wish I could have gotten the hotel by the trade center because that's where she wanted to go. But it's too expensive. They want $250 for a night. I'm not paying that. Plus, it would have been unfair to ask you for that much. The $150 will be just fine. That sounds oddly suspicious. Wait till you see what he says afterwards. I mean, sure, you could have given me it, but it still wouldn't be fair. Yet he would walk back on this lots of times. 25 of August. He says, sent you 100. More will come next month. Appreciate all of your help. I'm gonna need that back. Not even like, maybe 2 hours goes by. He asks for the money that he paid me back. Demanding it back. All because of said girl that he had been seeing, that they got into an argument and that he needs weed. Gee, that should probably be red flag number 1. But no, it just kept on going. And that's another thing he would do, is make missed calls at the most inconvenient times imaginable. I'm not going to say what my schedule is, of course, but if you notice, a lot of these missed calls he would make at moments I would become very unavailable. More on this later. Here's how I plan on doing this. In mid-November, I will give you this amount in total because I'm paying blank back as well. Venom, I know, has given his testimony on this a lot. However, there is a lot of text that was deleted because he would sometimes create these schizophrenic type messages to get my attention and quickly delete them as if nothing happened. And I sadly could not screenshot them for the life of me. So unfortunately, a lot of this is stilted. The only reason I'm telling you this is because I was unfair towards you, and I don't want you to struggle. But I don't want to take advantage of you or anyone. I requested that is because I got myself into this situation. But yet you would never make an attempt to get yourself out of this without anyone else's help. Like, seriously. I think the weed might have done a lot of damage to your brain cells, my guy. The fact that he literally says that he doesn't, and he wanted to, that he was unfair and didn't want me to struggle, but still walks back on his word, really just shows how much of his naivety towards me is. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. These missed calls, now that I'm caught back up, I want you to take a guess what all these 18 blocked messages are. Hey man, just woke up and saw all of this. What's up? Sorry about that. GF got caught up in something. Need to help her get out of... okay, now I want you to take a wild-ass guess what this all looked like. What these 18 messages looked like. I'll tell you. Missed call, missed call, missed call, missed call. You pretty much get the message. Keep in mind, 4:00 in the fucking morning. Got a minute? Call me. It's urgent. All at 4:00 in the morning. Missed calls. 18 of them. This dude acted like that his life depended on me, and he's almost 30, keep in mind. Full 6 years older than me. Why on earth are you, like, holy shit. Like, the moment I woke up and saw all this, I was just like, damn, how desperate are you? Like, for real. And then we get to October 23rd. And this is where he told me where he brought up Venom, because this is where, and this comment right here where I say, it's okay, I understand if you wish to talk, you can come to me, I'll give you some space. All these messages were deleted. This is when he tells me about the Venom ordeal, or at least his side of things, trying to make me feel bad about it. However, he pretty much made me the middleman in all that, and I fell for it. All of it mid-November. None of it came through, and it's almost June, and it's already past June. And here's another part that I want to also bring up. He promises me a role on his show, Lothbrok Castle, or Hawkins Mansion, whatever it used to be called. He says that he's going to land me a spot on this series, building a new cast. As a result, I'm glad this did not go through at all, because knowing how Lothbrok Castle went as a result, it was a total clusterfuck, to say the least. And let's see. So he asks about the 100 back in August, mentions all these late fees. He promises he's going to make this right, but notice how this girl he tries to get back with, he keeps saying that this girl is stressing him out. Yet for whatever reason, he seems to try to make this sound like as if she was horrible, as if she was ruining him. And now we come to August 24th, before the Venom thing. My head is in a bad place. Leon told me that disability services said that my girlfriend has to leave by the end of the month, otherwise Leon loses his disability voucher. I don't know how much of Jersey I can take anymore. It's like roadblock after roadblock. I'm so fucking sick of it. Like, how many times does something go well and his blank end up screwing it up in the process? I'm so sick of this shit. I know, right? I'm so sick of it. I don't know what I'm going to do. This is just an entire clusterfuck. Like, now, we did discuss about this thing behind closed doors, and it turns out that Kyle was full-blown lying here, that he was trying to pick up a fight with said services, which is very fucking ironic. Now, there's a lot more or money that he's asking from. He pretty much said that it would come from, that he pretty much said only thing I could ask for help with is getting my nitro back. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, you're blowing your money on all this random ass shit. It has to be the last time. Now, I want you guys to keep this in mind. Whenever he says it's the last time and goes back on it, he made this promise not once, not twice, not even 3 times, or 4, or 5, or 6, or 7, or 8, or 9, but 10 times that he says this. Like, straight up. First 3 were because of this girl he was seeing that he got me involved with his love life. And now it got to a point where he's in, and then the rest were all completely his doing. So yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about right here. But yeah, I think I think since I have a lot on my plate as of now, I may have to put one of those games on hold for the next year. Oh, that's right. So he brings this up and actually tries to make a. Now, I started getting into hockey around late 2025 because I found out that my home state had a new team. He actually full blown made an offer to try to get me to fly out to where he was. He says Newark, but I really doubt it. Anyways, you stay a few days at my place, then we go to DC for sightseeing and the Caps games. As much as I'd consider it, I do think next year may be the best bet for that since I would have to request time off. Yeah, pretty much. I had to kind of pretty much bluff it and kind of straight up kind of tell him that I was not interested in this because I knew it was fucking sus. It's like, like I don't really know this dude outside of the internet, and yet he's asking to bring me across the flipping country. Like, seriously. And then there's more about this girl that he brings up. I guess supposedly that how she was being this controlling, manipulative person. Then he says that he needs help, that he got stranded. Saying, thanks, couldn't have done it without you. Like, at 1 o'clock in the morning, all this stuff. Then he starts getting himself into some reckless situations that he has to come to me for. And then he says he's going back to his home state of Missouri for the rest of the holidays, saying that he might be back to Virginia by mid-January, wherever the hell that is. Well, like, I know where Virginia is, but like, that, but it's like he seemed all over the place before he got arrested back in April that I could just really not care anymore. Asking you before I send any requests. Luckily, hotels return the money after the stay. Going to Chicago. Yeah, he'll literally ask me for money for things like food, traveling, to shit that's like so fucking expensive. And that basically he was acting like as if he depended on me all this time. And then he says something about well, he also tells me that I'm going to be down several bucks, which is really unfortunate, and that it has to wait. So I start catching on to some of his like money payments as a result, and needless to say, you guys probably get the picture. So I'm gonna try to. So okay, I'm gonna fast forward on this. Like, he sends me these like schizophrenic. This is one thing that always bothered me about Kyle. Oh, first, hold on. Okay, so you guys kind of get the gist of that. He pretty much would reach me for money, but then that's where these schizophrenic type messages come into play. He basically would have. He always had a problem whenever somebody would quote unquote try to get in his personal life, but he would always make his personal life public. He pretty much gets these messages to me being like, if I can't get a job, I might as well admit my defeat and disappear. All people have ever done was chew me up and spit me out whenever they got an opportunity. I never got help with my license in high school, let alone get help with a job back then. They always expected disability services to do everything for me. My life is fucked. I'm never going to be happy with the life I have. Just some tistic guy with that no one wants anything to do with. Should have moved in with my father other years ago. If I did, I wouldn't be this way. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. I didn't ask you about all this shit. Yeah, I did say some of this kind of resonated with me, but that was not really something I should have said in hindsight because at that point, like, he keeps saying, like, I'm gonna never bring, I'm gonna never be happy again. Nothing will bring me joy unless I have her by my side. I just wish someone would talk to her for me. Like, dude, you insisted that she was horrible to you and that you wanted her gone. And yet, here you are trying to get back with her. If her, like, Jesus. Like, I can't live without her. If I can't get her, I don't remember what this was. Maybe if I, like, this trailer is taking a toll on me, bigger. And then here's this. Now, supposedly in the court orders, he got arrested for I guess resisting arrest by trying to like take a gun from a police officer and resist an arrest. However, he actually alludes to some of this back in January where he says, "You know what I'm most afraid of? ICE mistaking Olivia for Latina. She's Native American and arresting her. Arresting her. They're arresting Native American. If I go to jail, you'll know why. I have to save her. I fear that ICE will go to Oscar County." It's like, I bet if you even tried to fight an ICE agent, you would most likely not see the light of day from that. So that's hilarious that you think you're actually going to be Superman against ICE. Like, Jesus Christ. This is just hilarious that I'm reading this. Like, in the most fucked up way imaginable. Like, see, he admits it right here that he would unalive anyone who dares to touch her, that he'd get her to Canada and she'd be safe. But yet she wants nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. And like, this whole thing is just a mess. Like, he also kind of panders about this whole like no one is illegal on stolen land, but yet tries to paint himself as like this conservative dude. And like, I'm going to skip forward a little bit because we do talk about Kirk, but it also does reveal a lot. I'm not going to tell anyone. And then I try to also give him advice by trying to say, like, yeah, sure, I didn't agree with, but yeah, I pretty much said, like, oh, hell yeah, that's good. Yep, fingers crossed, good. I'm not going to tell anyone about it either. They'll figure it out in due time when we're ready. Good. I recently just gone over, keep you and her on the low because the more the people, the spriting server, find out about it, the more questions people will have. If we do get back together, our relationship will remain a secret unless Olivia gets pregnant. Well, judging by Leon's video that kind of started this whole uproar against him, this pretty much kind of backfired. You can see clearly that he ignored my advice. And then he starts to literally, how do I say this? Actually, okay, so that's when he starts asking me to fight his battle for him, but I'm trying to find where that part of the message is. Okay, so skipping ahead a bit, that just shows the transaction history. For anyone who wants this doc, I'm going to share it in the description or in one of the pinned comments. So, this gets to a bit. Never mind, it's settled. 16. So like six. So it's like few missed calls again. Another series. What do we expect? Sorry for the delayed response. 10 missed calls. As if he clearly didn't learn his lesson that I might be busy. Hey, sorry for delayed response. Might be coming down with a cold or something. My throat and ears are killing me right now. So yeah, I was having a pretty bad head cold. And then, more money begging, and this is where everything comes to a head. He says that I guess Leon blocked him, saying that he didn't want anything. So I guess they both kind of fell out. And he literally calls me pretty much saying that I guess he went off on everyone that was trying to help him out, pretty much be in relationships. Whoa, I am not going to reveal that. He pretty much tries to get me to hand him over very informative videos or information about what everyone was saying about him post falling out. However, he completely ignored my advice about keeping it quiet, and it got him into this mess, trying to get me to fight his battle for him, which is ironic because he gave Firelord shit for doing this too. Well, especially when I told him my side of things from 2024. So I bring this up to him as he pretty much. So this is him making the final attempt to make his money, and that's where we are at the end. Good fucking riddance. Gonna turn off screen share. So that being said, this is how things go with the whole ordeal with me and Kyle. Now, for anyone who has any questions, who are probably wondering, why did I allow this individual into my to be around me for so long? Well, that is because I tend to admit that my biggest regret is that I kept pulling my punches, or that I would simply put my heart on my sleeve. As a result, it has costed a lot. And quite frankly, the moment I cut him off felt like a sigh of relief, as part of me helped get the spine to do so from a very good friend of mine behind the scenes that I'm not going to say their name for various reasons. But he kind of gave me a very harsh sense of reality that was needed, that I listened in very carefully and knew that it is time to do the right thing. I now know what I have to do. And as a result, I pretty much pull the trigger by unfriending him on Discord and blocking him in late February of this year. And since then, I have quietly been giving my testimonies about this the whole time. So this is kind of more like given the more images kind of thing. Like, most of my story has remained the same through several other streams that I've been on, through Courtney the Angel Hog, who you saw on here. Another one from Sloppy Seconds, who I was on his stream giving my side of things as well. And then there was one other person who I'm not going to say their name because they kind of proved to be very not trustworthy. That being said, everything has now kind of come into full fruition. If I can offer any sort of advice, do not make the same mistake that I did. If someone who is using you to your own benefit, or somebody who despises you so bad that they only turn around and start and start messing with you because they can get something out of you, or if they prove that your friendship is conditional with them, they are most likely not your friends. All I can say is make no mistake that it I have said before that the biggest mistake I've made on the internet was thinking I could ever be friends with Kyle Johnson. However, if I did, however, like I said before, I'm not going to dwell by doing something like these things should have never been done. I was pretending to be something I wasn't, because nothing would ever be learned as a result. Instead of running from it, we instead learn from it. And all there really is to learn from this is straight up fuck Kyle Johnson. Plain and simply. That is all we can really learn from this. Or I, myself, can learn from this. With that being said, this concludes my stream and concludes my story on Kyle Johnson. And for anyone who wants to subscribe for future uploads, or if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. Always remember, it is an option, not a demand. And I will see you all next time. Peace out.